You can find functional safety in everyday life. For example, the seat belt in your car for the unlikely case of an accident, or the smoke detectors in rooms for the unlikely case of a fire. But 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶 is with me. In the process automation, functional safety is way more crucial.
Yeah, as you can imagine, accident or some spurious operation in a process automation plant has much more impact. No? So as soon as humans or environment is threatened, we need a risk reduction. And this risk reduction is achieved by using SIL components.
And this is achieved by choosing components from Pepperl+Fuchs. The company has a huge history in this area. Tell us something more about that.
That's a good point. We have this huge history since 1973, actually. I did some research because I knew the question. And I found a proximity switch and an isolated barrier from 1973, which has a patent. So we have IP on this solution. And funny enough, the whole concept, which was patented back then, is still used in variations today. And if you look at our Pepperl+Fuchs interface technology unit at the moment, we are developing SIL components for 15 years using the 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶𝗹, which is a global standard here. And our development processes are third-party approved. No? And over this time, imagine we accumulated, I calculated it, about 150 man-years of experience in our R&D team for hardware and software development. And those engineers are backed up by certified functional safety engineers, which supervise the certification process.
150 man-years. I think you can show this in the product portfolio. What does it look like today?
Yeah, that's fantastic. If you go to the internet today and visit pepperl+fuchs.com, looking at the functional safety product selector, you will find 250 functional safety components from the interface division. In fact, there are much more functional safety components from our FA colleagues too.
Okay, 250 components. Well, let's just put it the other way around. That means that there's a great demand in the market for this.
Absolutely, absolutely. A great demand and a growing demand. Yeah? And what we see in the market is a steadily growing awareness of safety issues worldwide. So environmental safety, worker safety, etc., play a crucial role in every region. And this is also backed up by global harmonization of functional safety standards. No? So when we talk about this 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶𝗹, it's a global standard. And you can use it in India, China, the Americas, or Europe.
When speaking of the SIL3 isolators, what are the benefits?
The SIL3 isolators offer several benefits. The first one is that a classical way of doing SIL3 loops is to use a redundant SIL2 loop. If it's technically feasible and the customer has some restrictions in cabinet space or other restrictions, technical restrictions, he could use a one-out-of-one architecture in SIL3, saving some field devices and some control system channels and saving cabinet space. A second big advantage is the longer proof time of the SIL3 isolated barriers. Why is that? A SIL3 isolated barrier contributes less lambda dangerous faults to your SIL3 loop. And the lambda dangerous directly impact the proof time. The proof time is the time which is set in the functional safety manual, after which you have to retest the device that you use in your application, right? And the SIL3 isolators have a 4 to 10 times higher proof time than the SIL2 ones. If we talk about the typical life cycle of a plant of 20 years and you use a SIL2 isolator that you need to test every 5 years, this means 4 times administrating the test, documenting the test, building out the device, building in the device, testing the loop, right? If you use our SIL3 isolator, you can just put it there and forget about it because the proof time is 20 years. And that makes a big difference in life cycle cost. Yeah.
So we have many advantages. So the question would be, why is there a device for the analog signal outputs coming on the market right now and not before?
Yeah, this is a market-driven thing. Yeah, it's purely market-driven. On the one side, we saw the emergence of, or the appearance of universal I/O cards for control systems. Those universal I/O cards provide analog input, analog output, digital output function per channel. And this made the analog output function in the control system much more available and cheaper than it was in the past. Because in the past, these analog output cards had few channels and were comparatively expensive. Yeah? The second aspect is that we see field devices that require analog outputs in SIL3. So we see a certain kind of binary valves, just an example, that is switched by current levels. So 6 milliamp off, 12 milliamp on, for example. And the additional added value of those binary valves driven by current values is that they can speak the HART protocol. This sounds a bit crazy, but it enables the customer to trigger a partial stroke testing, a self-testing of this valve via his analog output channel. And our analog output isolator allows to utilize those features and to utilize the universal I/O card and those new field devices to the full extent.
So again, some more advantages. So to say, the product portfolio from Pepperl+Fuchs now is complete again.
We are never complete, of course. No? We are engineers. Yeah, we always think about improving our portfolio, but I guess we have a very broad offer to make. And we also offer, in addition to those isolated barriers for intrinsic safety, we offer safety relays, we offer surge protectors. So I would wonder if a customer doing functional safety and intrinsic safety at the same time, which goes to our website or who goes to our website, doesn't find what he needs.
Once again, great insights and information. Pepperl+Fuchs, thanks a lot.